Welcome to Critical Conversations. I'm your host, Ricky Watson, and tonight we're in for an incredible journey because here on Critical Conversations, we're dedicated to bridging everyday life with timeless spiritual wisdom. We dive deep, we keep it real, and we focus on empowering you, the viewer, with insights and encouragement to navigate life's complexities. Now today, I have the pleasure of welcoming a truly inspiring guest, Simeon Dill. And Simeon's story is a powerful example of vision, resilience, and growth. He started out as a barber, but has branched into so many different fields, proving that when you have a strong foundation, there's no limit to what you can build. So we explore also how he managed to stay grounded and impactful as he crossed into various fields of influence. And then later in the episode, we'll also tackle a topic that affects all of us, and that's anger. How do you manage it in a way that's healthy and constructive? I'll be sharing some insights on the secret to anger management, a skill that's truly life-changing when we get it right. And of course, we will wrap things up with a word of encouragement to leave you feeling refreshed and ready to face the week ahead. This show is all about connecting, growing, and being uplifted together. So let's dive in, shall we? Help me welcome Simeon Dill to Critical Conversations. How you doing, man?
What's going on, man? It's good to see you, brother.
Good to see you.
Sure, for sure.
Have a seat.
Thank you, brother.
Well, man, I'm so excited about you joining me tonight. Thank you for taking the time to be here. Now, for those that don't have the privilege of knowing you, I met you, I guess now it's been about 8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah, it's been some time.
In a barber shop. And now I told him when he walked in, I knew he was going to show up dressed better than me. I just knew that was going to happen. But I mean, when I met you, you were stylist, you were a barber, but now, I mean, you do a little bit of everything. You got products. I've seen you travel all over the world. You also host these events for men, I've seen as well. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So Simeon Dill. I always tell people I'm a barber by trade, but I'm a people person at heart. So I try my best to use my platform as a means to kind of just get connected with people. And me being a barber, seeing multiple people each day gives me an opportunity to see people and see opportunities. So it started as me being a barber some 25 years ago, like 25, 26 years ago. Obviously not an official barber.
For sure.
Not a licensed barber all that time, but it's just been something I've done. Like this has always been my way of connecting. I've never had a job, like I've never collected a paycheck. This has always been the thing.
That is a blessing, I tell you.
It has, man, I'm fortunate. It has led to like many opportunities that I just kind of take as they come. And the opportunities in itself kind of shape my life. So I'm just grateful for the platform.
Fair. How do you feel like barbering connects to the purpose for your life and your call? Because I know you feel connected to that, but how do you feel like those two worlds connect?
For sure. At this juncture in my life, I see that my purpose is to be a gatherer. So like just to get people together. I think if it's for the power that moves me, I think it's just intended for me to just put people in a place. I think I've experienced it happen. The things that tend to flow and come easy they tend to direct you to what you think your purpose is. So I feel like me just being around people, seeing the results of just me being obedient and just kind of going to the things that seem like they are aligned. I think that has kind of taught me that I'm just supposed to get people together. And always, like, other things happen when these people get together. There are some things that I didn't account for, that I didn't plan for, that lets me know that I'm kind of on track. You know what I'm saying?
Oh wow! What's the wildest story that happened for you?
Man, the wildest thing. I like this word serendipity, man.
Oh, I love that.
Where like things just kind of fall together and things just kind of come together, and it just seems like it's just right. Like everything is just like smooth. Much of life is not like that, but sometimes when you online and you thinking you online and things just go smooth, you're like, yeah, I'm where I was supposed to be. So I don't know specifically what that is. It just seemed like I always catch people at a good time in their life, at a great time. I've gotten some opportunities to work with some notable people who led to opportunities to travel, to see the world, to experience things that I wouldn't have been exposed to if it was just up to me.
Fair.
So just my whole arc, my whole story is a testament to me just kind of being in the right place at the right time, and me doing what I do, me being authentic to myself. It kind of serves that. So it just seemed like I always come up on opportunities, man. I think that was
sure.
just
That's
it's general,
sure.
but that's about it.
No, for sure. Now, to your point that I think a lot of people miss too is much of life is not like that. You know, like you got the mundane, but how do you get through that part of life? Because that's the bigger part of life. That's just mundane stuff day in, day out, and then you have these moments that's great. But how do you make it personally through those just everyday life stuff? Ain't nothing great, spectacular happen. It's just everyday life.
Yeah, so it's twofold. It's like two sides I look at that. In one sense, me naturally as a person, I'm a people person. So I'm always looking to engage, or I'm looking for stimulations from people.
Okay.
So that encourages me to be in the face of people all the time. So hence me being a barber, me talking, me hosting events and stuff like that. I would say the other side is just understanding, like at this age, at this point in my life, I understand like the idea of discipline and structure. And some things will be mundane, like it has to be.
Yeah.
I feel like you got to take some time to create motion in your life and momentum that doesn't cause any think power. But it is something that's going to get you ready for when the opportunity comes.
Absolutely.
So when the opportunity comes, you need to be ready. But these things that get you ready are the things that are mundane and they aren't fun to do and they don't seem special. It's a book that a good brother recommended to me called Chop Wood, Carry Water. And it's kind of like a Mr. Miyagi type of story about these mundane tasks that people have to do to get themselves ready for when the action happens. Yeah. So when you talk about mundane, like it don't really, at one point in my life, it would probably feel boring, but it's just a reminder. When things start feeling that way, it reminds me that this is where I need to be locking in, because there is an opportunity coming that I need to be prepared for. So things have kind of like the excitement and the engagement has died down, but like there's just some structure and some disciplines, the simple things that you need to be getting right, so when the opportunity comes, you'll be ready, you know?
You dropped a lot of good gems just there. One of the things that I hope people didn't miss is the power of discipline building momentum. Yeah. It's very important, because I think when you talk about discipline, you're going to be dealing with stuff. Some days you're going to feel like doing it, some days you're not.
Absolutely.
But that is actually what's building the momentum in your life.
Yeah, you don't see it all the time. It's like working out. Like you don't see you work out hard, you feel sore, but you don't see results.
Very true.
But
that is so good. You feel sore, but you don't see the results. That's life.
Yeah. Yeah, after a while, you start, like, you may see results. Yeah. But there are things that are changing within you that happen before you even see it.
Very true.
The mundane, the rituals, the things that we do on a day-to-day basis, those are things that shape us, and our ability to stay connected to those things kind of let us know if we ready for that opportunity.
Ooh, so good. So good. That's a great way to test readiness. I love that. I love that.
Yeah. Now I'm not saying I'm great at it. That's the test.
No,
that's
sure.
the part of the part of the human experience that challenges us every day. You know what I'm saying? Doing the things beyond what we want to do and what feels great and what's stimulating and stuff like that. I have a hard time with it, but I am at the point where I do recognize it, so I'm tuning in and for sure. Yeah, I'm tuning in a little bit more to that.
For sure. And recognition, I mean, that's half the battle there.
Yeah, that's the start, man.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
And you talked about keeping in mind, even during those mundane seasons and just going through the discipline of every day, that you have in your mind, like, but there's an opportunity coming.
Absolutely.
Have you always had that mindset, or if not, how did you get there with it?
Well, to be honest with you, I've always had, before I can identify what it was, I've always had like some type of favor. And we can talk about it from a spiritual level, and we can just talk about it in the natural, just things that have come to me that don't seem to come to other people. Right. Things that I can't explain, things that I don't deserve. Like I've seen the opportunities that have come my way, and I couldn't walk it back and tell you how it got to me. Yeah. So like that has always given me something to look forward to, and the more experiences I have, the more opportunities I'm able to take advantage of, you start to feel this momentum. anybody in momentum, it's just like, it seemed like things is just like it's just happening overnight, but no, it's not happening overnight.
Absolutely.
Like who you are, your being is collecting this momentum. It's you building this momentum, and the more you are true to who you are and true to your mission, your purpose, I feel like you just draw those things to you. Some people call it manifesting. Some people, like, it's a lot of ways you can look at it. Like, you know, we grew up in church, so it's way deeper than that. But, right. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm hopeful that it comes. I've seen it happen for other people. We hear that saying, like, Lord, I see what you do for others
all the time.
What you see for others. That just gives me a little bit of hope that it can happen. Now, I'm not saying it has to.
Got you.
I'm understanding that of how life works in that sense too. Like, it don't have to happen for me.
Very true.
But if it's available,
yes, that's so good.
Let me get some of that too. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna ready myself for it. You know, if it's for me, cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'd rather be prepared than not prepared. The last thing you want to do is be trying to get ready when it's time.
That is so good, and a lot of people don't do that, trying to brace themselves for disappointment.
Yeah, but that's human too, bro.
Very true. Yeah. Very true. Because I feel like no matter how good somebody's life may be or may look, to like, everybody has to face disappointment at some point.
Everybody.
And I really feel like it's how you navigate that determines if you're gonna reach that opportunity that's literally waiting for you, for you to just walk into it.
Yeah. Sometimes that's the test.
Ooh, that's good.
That's the test. That's sometimes good. Like how we carry it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm starting to understand, like, I don't have any kids, but the more I find myself around kids, the more I'm being taught, like, how the arc of our lives go. It just go in cycles. So kids have it at a lower level and adults have it at a higher level, but it's the same stuff happening. Like, how are you carrying it?
Ooh,
like, the kid that got an attitude, he don't want to do his homework and all this type of stuff. It's just like, you complaining about something that's gonna make you better. Like, you can complaining about something that's gonna fix you and put you in the right place.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, you don't want to be disciplined. Yes, you don't want no rules, but this is all to shape you into who you're supposed to be. So I had to look at myself. I'm a child to somebody. I'm a child to my mom. I'm a child to God. Like, I'm still and sometimes I get in my own way. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'm just like, I don't feel like, I just want to play. we still the same people we were when we was kids, bro.
We really are.
We've been exposed to more things, so it seems like we've matured, and it seems like our life is so much advanced, but it's still the same play. It's still the same thing playing out.
So good to put your life in that perspective.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're already out of time. That 12 minutes goes by so quick every time.
Super fast, man.
This was great. I gotta have you back for season 2.
Time flies when you have fun, bro.
For sure, man. I appreciate you again for coming. This has been great.
Of course.
I promise y'all, we're gonna hear from this man again. Be sure to check him out. Look him up, social media, Simeon Dill.
Simeon _ real deal.
Real deal.
Yeah,
please find this guy. I'm telling you, he's a good guy. Thank y'all so much for spending time with us. And on the other side of this break is the Coaching Corner. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Ashley Munson, inviting you to join me and my Chief of Staff, Justin James, and the band with no name for Munson Tonight. Each month, we'll explore political news to make it understandable and relevant for everyday citizens. Even if you don't think you're interested in politics, politics is interested in you. Join the conversation this month on CAN TV Cable Channel 19. Hyper-local news and public affairs. Experience the power of community television.
Welcome to the Coaching Corner. And today I want to deal with a subject that affects each of us at some point in our life, and that is anger. So whether it's in a moment of heated discussion, when dealing with unfair treatment, or feeling overwhelmed by daily stressors, anger is something we all experience. And while anger isn't in itself bad, how we respond to it determines whether it builds us up or tears us down or those around us down. So let's approach this topic from 2 different perspectives. I'm gonna be giving biblical principles and research-backed strategies, each of which can help us understand, manage, and even transform anger. Now, from a biblical perspective, anger is a God-given emotion. I know they told you it was bad all the time, but it's not. Ephesians says, in your anger, do not sin, reminding us that while anger is natural, it needs to be handled wisely, because anger, like joy or sorrow, it's a signal. It often highlights where our boundaries or values or expectations have been violated. And this perspective aligns also with psychological research that identifies anger as an emotion rooted in perception, often triggered when we feel threatened, treated unjustly, or just simply frustrated. Anger is a reaction, and it actually stems from the brain's limbic system, which acts as a fight or flight response center. So when it senses a threat or it sends a signal that raises our blood pressure, it impacts our energy levels, it primes us to act. But studies also show that we have the ability to activate our prefrontal cortex. Now, that's the area of your brain that's responsible for rational decision making, which can help us to pause and evaluate our reactions rather than just acting impulsively. Proverbs puts it this way: better a patient person than a warrior, one with self-control than one who takes a city. This wisdom emphasizes the importance of patience and self-control. Now, in our fast-paced, reactionary world, slowing down and being slow to anger can really be transformative, because when you feel anger bubbling up, something that you can try easily is what I call the 6-second rule. When anger is triggered, neurotransmitters in the brain take approximately 6 seconds to dissipate. 6 seconds. So in that time, you can take a breath, wait 6 seconds before responding, and I promise you that short pause can prevent reactive words or actions and help you regain control of your response. In the Epistle of James, we are advised everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry, because human anger does not produce the righteousness that God desires. This passage calls us to discern between righteous anger and sinful anger, because righteous anger is rooted in love and justice. Jesus himself displayed anger, especially when confronting hypocrisy or defending those marginalized, as seen when he took out the whip and started cleansing the temple. Righteous anger, it always compels us towards a positive action, never in the direction of destruction. So when we channel anger to address wrongs and support the hurting, it can actually motivate us toward constructive, godly action. Now, the antithesis of that is that sinful anger is self-centered, seeking to harm or punish. But there's been research on anger management that highlights that when anger is focused on revenge or entitlement, it often results in resentment and broken relationships. Because sinful anger creates division rather than peace, and it does not reflect the love and compassion that Christ calls us to embody. So beyond understanding anger, managing it involves practical, actionable strategies. So here are some methods to help you navigate moments of frustration and avoid the pitfalls of impulsive anger. Number one, you have the concept of reframing your thinking. All right? You have to reframe your thinking about a situation from a different perspective. Cognitive behavioral research shows that how we interpret an event can fuel or extinguish our anger. Proverbs puts it this way: fools give full vent to their rage, but the wise bring calm in the end. So try that out. Another way you can do it is journaling provides a healthy outlet for anger. It allows us to express feelings on paper rather than giving them free rein in life. Physical exercise is another one, because it releases endorphins that naturally reduce stress and it improves your mood. Studies show that regular physical activity can literally help mitigate anger, especially if anger is rooted in some pinked up frustration. So, and it doesn't have to be going to the gym and lifting all the weights in the gym room. It can be taking a walk. It can be going for a run or a jog, or even engaging in a few minutes of deep breathing can help diffuse anger and bring you to a place of clarity. Empathy involves putting yourself in another person's shoes, and that's why this is another practical way to address anger. Jesus modeled empathy when he encountered the Samaritan woman at the well. meeting her in her need rather than judging her. Because when we try to understand somebody else's perspective, it reduces anger because it shifts our focus from ourselves to a broader understanding. So anger management is not just about managing one outburst at a time. It's actually about a journey of cultivating a peaceful spirit. So here are a few more tools to help you with that you can begin to practice over time. Philippians reminds us not to be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. So when we bring our frustrations to God, we actually find peace and clarity. So try setting aside a few moments each day to pray or meditate. This regular practice, though, it actually has been proven to calm your mind. But it also allows us to invite God's perspective in and God's peace into our daily struggles. Ephesians says this, it says, get rid of all bitterness, rage, anger, and be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ, God forgave you. This leads me to another practical tool that can help you with anger, and that is forgiveness. Forgiveness is essential for managing anger over the long term. There have actually been studies on forgiveness that demonstrate that holding on to anger or bitterness harms our well-being, while forgiving releases that emotional burden. Now, if you don't want to take research and you want more scripture, Romans gives us, there is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. That simple verse is a reminder that we need to extend grace not only to everybody else, but also to ourselves. So we learn that another practical tool here is self-compassion. Research supports that self-compassion promotes emotional resilience and it reduces self-directed anger. A lot of times when you're thinking about anger and trying to conquer anger, you're always thinking about what it looks like when you give it out to other people. But how many of you are not doing outbursts of anger to other people? You're angry with yourself. You're hard on yourself. You're judging yourself. But you've got to learn to love yourself like you really do want to be loved. Because understanding that love and patience are the ultimate tools for managing anger. 1 Corinthians 13 describes love as patient, kind. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love transforms how we see ourselves and how we see others. But instead of reacting with anger, we can respond with patience and kindness. And in reality, that is what brings healing rather than harm. Now, studies also show that practicing kindness, even when we don't feel like it, can change our emotional state. Now, that is so powerful that you don't have to feel like it to do this. So try doing something kind, even in a moment of frustration, because often we find that our anger dissipates as love replaces it. Anger truly is a powerful emotion, but when it's managed well, it can even be a source of strength and motivation. The Bible offers a wealth of guidance on anger management, showing us how to be slow to anger, how to discern between righteous and sinful anger, and how to actually extend forgiveness and love in difficult situations. But when you pair that with research-backed techniques such as reframing, exercising, showing empathy, engaging in prayer, these principles will begin to equip you to handle anger constructively. So I want to thank you. And I'm hoping that you will walk in peace. And I'm hoping that you are going to hold on to the tools that we've just discussed about patience and understanding and grace. Because regardless of where you find yourself, no matter how entrapped you feel by anger and it may be growing and maturing into bitterness or resentment, it is possible for you to learn a new way. It is possible for you to start loving yourself enough to manage anger well. Because when you choose not to manage anger the right way, it's not about you lashing out on other people. It's you not allowing yourself the right to be the best you. It's you not allowing yourself to step up to the plate and be everything that God has created you to be. So do not let anger be your God. Because when you refuse to control it, when you refuse to manage it, and you refuse to implement these strategies, you're not bowing your knee to the God you think you are. You're actually bowing your knee to a God called anger. I hope you learned something. I hope you grow from this, and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Welcome to Presente, a public affairs program elevating the voices and visibility of matters most important to the Hispanic Latino community, spotlighting leaders who are actively implementing solutions and fostering community-led responses to the issues in their local community. Join us monthly via Channel 19, streaming on cantv.org and the CanTV Plus app. Elevated conversation and storytelling, experience the power of community television.
This evening, I want to wrap it up by encouraging you about the creativity within you, the divine spark within each of us that often lies untapped or overshadowed by the busyness and burdens of life. We are made in the image of God, and one of the first things we learn about Him is that He is a creator. In the opening verses of Genesis, we see God forming the heavens and the earth and fashioning life with intentionality and imagination. Creativity isn't just an addition to our lives, it's an essential part of our identity in Him. But many of us feel disconnected from this creative potential. Life can seem mundane, pressures can mount up on us, and we lose that spark of inspiration. And we find ourselves stuck in routines and cycles and feeling uninspired, as though creativity is something distant or reserved for a select few. Yet God's creative power is one of the tools He uses to solve problems, to break cycles, and to change seasons. We see this not only in the universe around us, but in the way He interacts with us, constantly breathing new life and new hope and new ideas into our lives. And before we can unlock this creative potential, we've got to address what's blocking it. And one of the biggest barriers is fear, the fear of failure, of inadequacy, or of judgment. Because fear convinces us that we aren't creative, that our ideas won't measure up. It traps us in a cycle of self-doubt. But we must believe that God hasn't given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Creativity flourishes in an atmosphere of courage where we allow ourselves to take risks and express the uniqueness God has placed in us. Another obstacle, though, to overcome is comparison. Because in a world where we are constantly surrounded by the achievements of others, it's easy to feel as though our ideas or efforts are insignificant. But God didn't make you to replicate someone else's journey. Ephesians reminds us that we are God's workmanship, created in Christ for good works, uniquely prepared for us. Comparison clouds our vision and dulls the distinct creativity God has gifted each of us with. So it's time for you to unlock it. And it's time for you to have a critical conversation with yourself about what God has really put on the inside of you. So I want you to take time this week and remind yourself that you are made in the image of your Creator. Therefore, you are creative, and you can create something to change your season, break your cycle, and change your life. But it's important for you to remember that transformation is often on the other side of a critical conversation. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. You have a great night.